Okay, Shreya, thank you again for joining me this morning. It's really good to see you. Um, a few questions for you then about your time on the course. Um, Remind me again, when was it when you started the course? I think it was at the start of year 12,
Yeah,
being with
around
us.
October in year 12, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so a good almost 2 years, I suppose,
Yeah.
since you've been on the course. Do you recall at all, I know it's been almost 2 years, so what kind of grade you were looking at that point, or how school was going in general?
Um, at the start of year 12, I would say for maths, I was at around a B.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Um, and at that time, do you recall at all if you were, um, obviously you might have been thinking about aiming for something higher. Do you recall what you thought you might have been struggling with, or at least what you think might change to be able to for you to push towards those top grades?
I think I just sort of needed a routine and a bit of a push. So for a lot of the courses I was going to apply for in uni, my requirement was an A, like I needed an A in uni. So just having that sort of routine where I'm just doing a lot of maths in the week is, I think, something that I needed.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense. And obviously, something that is required for those top grades, A and A star. A lot of universities look for them, and having that routine, a lot of work is obviously important. Um, that's good. So. Was that kind of the decision when it came to deciding to join a course outside of school, like ourselves? Was it that sort of decision of, I need some more work, I need some sort of routine? Was that the sort of turning point?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think I just needed to sort of get in the zone and make sure I really secured my A because I definitely needed it for a lot of the courses I was applying to. And yeah, that was mainly the deciding decision. And I felt like
Mm,
so just something that would really make me focus.
that's fair enough. Yeah, that's a lot of the idea of the course, I suppose. So there is a lot to it. There's resources that would provide the lessons, but that routine can definitely help a lot of students, and it's good to hear it helps yourself. Um, So over the last 2 years on the course, um, from from my memory, you have engaged really well. You have completed, I think, all of the homeworks and assessments that were set of you. You also engaged a lot with things like the one-to-one personal mentor support, asking questions there, which is excellent. Um, Obviously, the right thing to do. What do you feel for yourself? Part of the course helped the most. So obviously, routine was perhaps a big factor of it. Was there any components of what we set, like resources, lessons, handouts, the way things were explained, that particularly you found helped yourself?
I would say that all the lessons had a set structure. So everything was planned really well. And you could even see like what the upcoming lessons were, like what you had to prepare for. And all the handouts were like really organized. Like you could print them out for the start of the lesson and your teacher would like go through it in depth. Like there was nothing really skipped. So you would start off from the basics. And I feel like
Mm,
that's what a lot of people or teachers don't do. They sort of just sometimes throw you into the deep end and you get a bit confused. But the explanations that you got with Amrit, they were sort of more level based and you could work your way up, which is something that I really liked. And he always made sure that everyone was engaged and focused in lesson, which was also a good thing. And I also found for me, especially during exam seasons, the office hours were really helpful. And even if you couldn't attend those, then you had the one-to-one mentor, which I feel like I used quite a bit because I couldn't really like sometimes you couldn't attend at those specific times, but if you couldn't
mhm.
do that, then you could even drop in a message and like you get really speedy responses, so it just really helps. You can just clear all your doubts like as easily and quickly as possible.
That's good. Yeah, I'm glad all that was helpful. To touch on some of your points there, I think you're right about sort of how it's taught being a little bit different from in school. Something I found, which is perhaps similar to yourself, is teachers in school, obviously they can be very, very good. But a couple of points, they can either be, from what I found, my experience was they teach a lot of the textbook sort of basic questions, introduction to the topic. And then when I opened an exam, so a past paper or an exam paper, and looked at those questions, they were wildly different. I was like, wow, what do I do for these? And so the idea was that everyone can start at perhaps the start of the handout and end up at exam questions at the end. So it's very specific to exam questions, which was the idea. I'm glad that worked for you as well. And of course, yeah, the personal mentor support, really, really good. It was useful to a lot of people in exam season, which is good to see. Okay then, Shreya. Another thing I'll ask then is for someone who is perhaps or was in a similar position to yourself when you were just starting year 12, sort of at a certain grade, we're looking for higher grades for university. What would you suggest for someone who's considering joining a course, our course,
I would
that
say
might be
for me,
unsure?
I'd personally recommend it, like definitely. It's helped me a lot and just like having that constant push, maybe because for me it was I was doing two essay subjects with maths.
Mm,
So sometimes I used to sort of focus more towards them and like sometimes sideline maths. So it's really important to balance your three or four subjects or however many you're doing. And I feel like you have a built-in routine where you're studying maths 2 to 3 days a week. So the way the course is laid out, it makes sure that you're not like sort of sidelining one of your subjects and
mm,
um, you always have a constant source of help as well. So any doubts, any like questions you have, you can always message literally anyone and they'll get back to you as soon as possible. Like everyone's super friendly and helpful as well. So I definitely recommend the course. And it like the exam questions, the packs, the way everything is explained is like top tier. So yeah, definitely would recommend.
brilliant. That's really good to hear. I appreciate the kind words, Shreya, and obviously, yeah, Amrit is fantastic at explaining things. A lot of people have seem to agree, which is good. Um, Finally, then, Shreya, I'll just ask if you would like to share your grade that you achieved in A-level maths, and then also perhaps what you're intending to do next.
Yes, I got an A in maths and I had the option between uni. So I was going to go to King's College to do a BSc in data analytics. But then I switched to recently, I just got an offer from my apprenticeships in one of the big four. So I'm going to be doing
Oh,
a
wow,
tax apprenticeship in EY now.
brilliant. That's excellent. Very, very well done, Shreya.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll leave it there then, Shreya. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining me this morning, and thank you for um, your kind comments. And a big congratulations on your result and obviously joining one of the big four. Awesome, awesome achievement. So well done.
Thank
Okay, Shreya, thank you very much.